Hi everybody. This is the recording that I promised you regarding your assignment for Unit 6. There are several portions to this assignment that you're doing manually, and then there are two portions, I believe, that you're doing in SPSS. The first is part of the SPSS connections, which will give you step-by-step walkthrough. However, the second part is asking you to take just a portion of the problem that you see here on my screen. Just C, calculate the T. It's asking you to do that manually in the assignment, but then it is asking you at the end then to go in and just calculate T in SPSS for the purpose of comparison so that you can look at your answers through SPSS versus your manual calculations. So I'm going to walk you through that. This is a very easy process here. Let's read the problem. Betty, an employee of Shining Sun Daycare Center, read an article in Healthy Child magazine saying that the average 3-year-old child is 37 inches tall. Betty works with 3-year-olds at Shining Sun, so later that week she measured the height of each child who had just turned or was about to turn 3 years old. Here are their heights in inches, so we have our data set there, okay? Now, notice, anytime you get a word problem, the important thing is to sort of pick apart the relevant details. Here, they are telling us that with regards to height in inches, the average 3-year-old is 37 inches. That would be your population mean, okay? So, population mean, 37 inches. This is our data set for our sample. Okay, so first thing we do here is we're going to open SPSS. Hopefully everybody resolved their licensing issues. I'm not really sure where everybody stands at this point. I know there was 1 or 2 people that were still having some problems as of I think the beginning of the week or the end of last week. I'm hoping that's been dealt with. And as you can see, Piglet here has just had enough. All right, SPSS. This is generally your opening screen. It is currently opening automatically on data view. Well, before we enter our data, let's create a variable. So we're going to click on variable view, and we're going to give it a name. Now here, this name is more or less a label for things as you work through them, so you can't use spaces or certain characters. It's just kind of got to run together, some sort of abbreviation. Once you type that in, hit enter. There is your defaults. For the purpose of what we're doing here, we can leave those alone. Now in the label section, this is where you can put a more formal name that will show up on your reports. Okay, so once you do that, now we're going to go over to data view. This is where we're going to enter the data set, and we're literally just going to type in these numbers in a line going down. Okay, there we go. And it's always good to double check yourself. We got 41, 40, 36, 42, 39, 38, 33, 44, 39, and 41. Looks good to me. So then we're going to go to our toolbar. Again, I have a Mac. Some of you may be using Windows systems. Everybody's going to have different variations of operating systems, I'm sure, so don't freak out if your menus look a little bit different. On the Mac, they always put the toolbar up here at the top of the screen, separate from the actual software window. We're going to click on Analyze, Compare Means, because that's what we're doing here, okay? Then we're going to go to One Sample T-Test. And see right here is the variable we just created. Make sure that's highlighted as such, and hit your little arrow to transfer it over to test variable. Now the test value here is going to be your population mean, which we know is 37 inches. So we're going to type 37 and just hit OK. And we get our lovely output viewer window here showing two tables that are basically providing us with our one sample test. You can look at your results, compare them to the results that you calculated manually to get a better understanding of what the software does for you. Now, don't forget when you do this portion to make sure that you select the table, right-click on it, copy it, and then paste it into a Word document to include with your assignment, or you're not going to get credit for it. Okay? That pretty much concludes things, pretty straightforward. If anybody needs any help, you know where to find me. Happy calculating!